Welcome to the Chicken Box. It's another Thursday. What's happening, everybody out there? It's May. It's May the
Already?
1st. Man, you know, that diet and them exercises you said you were going to do. What's happening with them? Jay, how you doing today in this beautiful May day?
Yes, it's doing very well. Very well. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm fantastic. We got a crazy topic today, but before we get into this, welcome to the Chicken Box, everybody. If you're not from the Baltimore area, it's a Baltimore thing. It is bull wings, fries, some salt, pepper, ketchup, some hot sauce, how you like it in the box. If the box isn't greasy, it's not really a good chicken box. Would you agree, Jay?
I would agree. Absolutely.
But on this show, powered by the 132-year-old oldest black media company, Afro News, we come in, we speak on all types of topics, talk to all kind of titans and great leaders and future leaders. And today we're talking about educational wellness. I mean, it's a lot of areas of education, but what is the wellness space? And we have a special guest with us, Daryll Wharton, joining us today. Jay, why don't you introduce our guest, and then we can get right into it, because I want to know what educational wellness is, and I'm sure everybody else does as well.
All right. So Daryll Wharton is a teacher, wellness coach, special educator, administrator, and founder of Teacher Recess Consulting. With over 20 years in education, she helps school leaders implement done-for-you wellness programs that reduce burnout, boost morale, and improve student achievement. Known for creating recess for teachers, Daryll blends mindset coaching, subconscious strategies, and sustainable routines to help educators thrive in and outside of the classroom. Her motto is simple: happy and healthy teachers create vibrant classrooms.
Boom, everybody. Daryll, you might be on mute, but welcome to the Chicken Box.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nice to be here.
Hey, we gave you a drum roll. They added sound effects to this thing.
It was good. That sounded good.
Absolutely. So, Teacher Recess Consulting. I know everybody's looking up there like Daryll. Let's just get past that. She's one of the only or the few. I don't know about white women, but I know black women who are named Daryll that I've ever met. She's the only one that I've ever met. Welcome to the Chicken Box.
Thank you so much.
You're doing some unique things in education, and we are excited to find out more about it. So tell us about Teacher Recess Consulting.
Well, I love the name. First of all, I just like to tell people I create recess for teachers. What better way to serve not only the people who touch every single person in this world and has an impact. And so it makes me giddy inside. It makes me feel good to know that I can help teachers to show up in the classroom well, mentally, emotionally, so that they can thrive even though they're not home. I mean, even when they're home and when they're not home, they can thrive inside the classroom, and helping our students to thrive and be a model for wellness.
A model for wellness. I don't know if all y'all remember, but when you heard recess was coming as a child in school, you were happy. You couldn't wait. I mean, as soon as you said recess, I don't know why I went back to Let's Play It's. I mean, they might call it tag, or I might be saying my age, but as soon as it seemed like we got outside, we were just running and just chasing each other. It was the best.
Absolutely.
I don't remember how long recess was, but it was fun. Jay, you remember recess?
Of course, a million years ago, but yeah, I do.
Come on, think back.
You don't get that as an adult, unfortunately. You should, but you don't.
And they stop it. They stop it at a certain grade, and it's like high school. They need recess too, just like teachers need recess as well. We all need a break. And if you think about it, our children are sitting in desks all day long, and they don't have any type of outlet. And if that the most critical time that you need an outlet is middle school and high school. Because I don't know about you two, but if I'm in a staff meeting and my time is getting ready to run out, look, I need a recess or break, whatever you want to call it, because I'm about to pop off and become a behavior problem. So I need a minute. So, and that's what I thought of teacher recess. Like, yeah, teachers need a break just like every single person in this world needs a break, and they can relate to the recess.
Yeah. So Daryll, when did you start Teacher Recess Consulting?
I started teacher recess consulting. It's been 2 years now. I had a name change. I've been doing wellness for over 10 years. And then I decided I'm a special educator, and I decided, you know what? I need to change my audience to teachers, because I know that when I was in the classroom, I'm no longer in the classroom. But when I was in the classroom, the work did not stop. And
Right.
we don't talk about all the work that teachers do beyond the school day, before and beyond the school day. And so I switched to teachers. I really didn't have to change my framework. My framework was always wellness and choosing your first and not pouring from an empty cup. But changing to teachers it's been fabulous, because I know that I'm touching a teacher, but indirectly I'm touching kids. And that is what makes it so rewarding, to help teachers to prioritize their wellness.
Excellent. So yeah, the reason why I asked about the sort of the timeline is I was wondering, with this, you have such a hard focus on preventing like teacher burnout and keeping teachers in a great mindset, and that, like you said, sort of cascading down to the kids. And I was just wondering, did that ramp up, into, from COVID especially, right? Because I know a lot of teachers felt a level of exhaustion and uncertainty before COVID, but then, during COVID, it just became, just unbelievable and sort of
Absolutely.
So how did that affect your sort of your world there?
It definitely triggered more teachers, because it triggered our students. And subconsciously, when you are working from home, you don't have a turnoff time. And we're in this thing right now where everybody needs to return to work. But you actually got more work out of people when they were home, because you don't have a turnoff, because you're in the same space all day. And so that increased the burnout, the just not taking care of yourself, because you're consistently working all day long. And so I think for our kids, and I'm sure you've heard this, we have a different breed of kids now. It really is true. And COVID has been an impact on that a lot. We have different babies now. And so in order to meet them where they are and make sure that we are providing for their needs, we need to do something different with our teachers. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. If you want different, you have to do different.
Yep, I agree with that 100%.
I love that. If you just tuned in, how you doing, Jewel? This is the Chicken Box. We are talking about teacher recess. We're talking about educational wellness. And we have Daryll Wharton, the founder of Teacher Recess Consulting. And every time you say recess today, you should smile, right? Because it's a break. You're taking a break. And I get it. I mean, we keep hearing about the kids burned out, but who is handling the teachers who have to deal with? Because when the kids, like you say, once they clock out, you never know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to be, you used to fight back in the day just for touching the desk. Stop touching my desk. And then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Or somebody pull a chair out. Or I don't know if all those things happen anymore, but I'm sure it still fights in school. Because my kids, they always filming it. I'm like, they have a whole site.
These phones, these phones are something else. I always say that for teachers, when they really learn how to prioritize their wellness, and we think of, oh, I'll get my nails done, or oh, I'll get a massage, and that's self-care. That's not self-care. That may be a small portion of self-care. But when you walk into a classroom as a teacher and you know that your wellness is intact, you have more patience. Your mind is clear. You can handle situations before they even escalate to a fight. It makes you more aware of your surroundings. And we want our students to feel safe, not just physically, but safe emotionally. And when you have a teacher that is grounded in their boundaries and, just feeling good about themselves, they model that for students. It's a model. So it's important. It's a domino effect.
Absolutely, because when you came on, and as soon as we got into recess, you could see your energy just go from. I mean, you came on very pleasant, but then as soon as you hit that recess button, it was like
all
you went
day.
to a level, like and I'm sure that smile and that radiant vibe or energy that comes off is going to transfer to the next person, and especially being in school, like you said, all of that time. How are we gonna
All
bring
day.
recess, Daryl? How are we gonna bring
I'm telling you,
recess?
it's going to start with the leaders, and let's not forget the school leaders. They're burnt out too, and so
Absolutely.
my business, what we provide a done for you wellness program. So the school leader doesn't have to think about anything. I handle all of that from them, down from the emails to the, hey, teacher B's birthday is 3 days from now. Make sure you say happy birthday in the hallway. And so it also takes that extra thing off of their plate. And I want to be clear about teacher wellness, addressing that, prioritizing that. It's not something extra in the building. It's a strategy. It's a strategy to build community in the building. It leads to more inspired, engaged, and effective teaching. There's a correlation between a teacher being well and student achievement. So, I don't want people to think this is just, oh, we're going to teach them to go and get their nails done once a month. This is something that is needed, and it's going to be very impactful if school leaders really know that, okay, if I want my school building to thrive, the culture, the scores, everything else, I need to make sure that the people who are in charge of doing that are well.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That you hit the nail on the head right there, Jay.
Yeah, it's funny. So I have connections to teachers, personal connections to teachers and school leaders as well. And like seeing that people often just think, oh, okay, teaching is a job, and it is, right? But there is so much sort of personal aspects that you kind of dump yourself into that position because they're kids, right? And you care about them and you want to see them do well. It can be very draining, right? And it's interesting that you're taking from the perspective because it's often sort of bottom up, which is like, let's make sure the kids are doing really well, which is important. Obviously, it's incredibly important. But a lot of times people forget about addressing where the teachers are and letting that sort of flow downward because they are with these students, multiple hours a day, right? And so a lot of times everyone's like, well, if the kids are doing fine, we'll just figure it out. We'll just go, down to up. But it's like, if all the adults are burnt out and they got short tempers and they just aren't fully there and they don't have that sort of thirst for really pushing themselves as teachers and helping the students along, it really does become this disconnect. And I'm very interested in your perspective about that the kids are very different now, right? Because coming out of COVID, right? Like they were home for 2 years, so they don't know. They didn't, at least when they went back initially, they didn't know what school was even like, for the younger ones. They have no idea what it's like. They didn't have that basis. And so your teacher recess consulting, what has been like, have you heard anecdotally from sort of the teachers? Have they been like, look, this is like groundbreaking, this is changing, I'm so glad that people are actually noticing us? Like what have you heard from them?
I think that you hit it on a nail when you said that, the children were home for 2 years. And so you think about it, we all know how to act when we are in public places and being around more than one person. And so there was a rise in, you're talking about behavior problems because you're home, and especially if you were in pre-K. So you were home for pre-K, which is teacher led. Legally you don't have to attend school in pre-K, but pre-K and kindergarten, and then now you are in first grade and you've never been in a school building. And we have certain norms that we follow in school, as in, walking in line and sitting behind a desk. And that's a whole other show that I could speak on that. Um, but if you're not used to that, it takes some getting used to just to learn how to interact with others. And in regards to teachers, you said that, you mentioned that the teachers are with kids all day long. let's take it a step further. We all have different energies. And so what other profession do you know that you come into contact and you mix your energy with 40 people every single day? And if you're in middle school or high school, students are changing classes. Some even starting in third grade, fourth grade, they start to go to different teachers. So now you're mixing your energy with 80 people or 90 kids a day. How do you separate your energy at the end of the day? I do energy work as well. And you need to clear yourself of everybody's energy every single day. That's important for everybody to do. And so it's difficult. It's very difficult. And our children also don't know how to do that. They're interacting with 35 energies every day. How do you release that so that you start anew every single day and fresh?
Man, this is the Chicken Box Show. Powered by the Afro News. 132 years old. Check us out. Go to afro.com. We love to hear about you. You're not going to hear you're not going to hear any beautiful stories about teacher recess. You know what? You need some business recess too. How about just add another domain, adult recess. We need adult recess. Okay, we so that we can not snap. You know what I mean? We want to, you know how some people gotta count to 10. Or, you gotta really, I've never thought about the energy that you were talking about, but you were dealing with a bunch of folks. Everybody remembers in school, you had a teacher who was nice, then there was somebody that was mean, then there was somebody that didn't care. They just give you some work and they go down the hall and talk to another teacher. You had all of these, and I guess a lot of that was dealing with their day of just all of these different personalities. And then don't let one of them not be in harmony with the class. Then all of a sudden they're disruptive.
Yeah.
And they're getting put out. They're getting, sent to the office or whatever else. How have you found are any schools implementing this now in Baltimore?
Not in Baltimore, no. Now, I will say I'm almost sure that school districts have some type of wellness, I'm gonna say wellness outlet. We all have employee, assistance programs. So, if you're an employee and you're feeling down and you feel like you need someone to talk to, or you need rent assistance, everyone has some type of EAP program. But when I'm talking about what Teacher Recess Consulting does, we take it a step further. It's not a one day where all the teachers get lunch. And that's nice, don't get me wrong, but it goes beyond that. It gives teachers strategies. And, you think about it, you just smiled when you spoke about just the recess period. You think about when you were a child, what was your favorite thing that you like to do? I have a hula hoop in my house. I have, you think about, I always have my teachers to connect. I want you to find your favorite childhood thing that you used to do. I have jacks. I still have jacks, and I have the metal ones, the real ones. Get these little plastic ones they have out here now. Jacks and what you used to do in the little hand games.
She's not playing with them jacks. She's just like, she's scooping them up off of the sidewalk or on the porch.
It's that connection, that emotional connection. And that's how I tap into the subconscious minds of people, because that is a part of you that is thinking all day long without you knowing it. It's a part of you that's keeping you breathing at night, but it takes direction from you. And so it's nonlinear. That's why you can think of something that happened in childhood and you can laugh about it as if it has just happened. It's very powerful, and we don't tap into it enough. So I take teachers back to, let's do that one thing that you used to love doing as a child, and let's use that emotion and apply it to now while you're in the the classroom. And people think of teachers as you're teaching. They don't think about the prep work you have to do, the curriculum you have to follow, the students in a room that learn differently, that need different support. And you have to make sure you're putting things in place for that baby. It's so many things that they're doing, and they're playing different roles. They're social workers. They're nutritionists. I didn't eat last night. Here's a granola bar for you. Kid comes in, their shirt is still dirty. I have a clean shirt. I'm going to take these shirts home and wash them. We don't think about all of the things that teachers actually do.
I love the teachers.
Yeah.
Man, I love the teachers who really, really want to teach. Now, there's some who they just there. I don't know why you're there. But those who really love like you said, the babies, I love them. They need to be up there with the highest paid people in the world, because they take care of our children. And one teacher can, like, all you need is one person to believe in you. Just one teacher to say you can do it, and it'll change a child's life, and he will or she will just all of a sudden flourish. You know, that child that wasn't doing anything, all of a sudden somebody said you were beautiful, you could do it, you were amazing, and they are running to the races. Jay, you remember that teacher that told you that?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's there's so many. No, I'm kidding.
Jay.
You can find one. You can find one.
I can find one. No, it is interesting. Like that is a very true story, right? That, you know, many people have talked about having that one teacher or a few teachers who have been sort of transformational, to use a word out of your bio, that have really made massive impact. And if you're having all of these teachers come in who are feeling grounded and feeling supported, and having, even to your point, like almost a childlike love for what they do again.
Yes.
And that kind of comes down and is shown to those kids. Like I've got some, you know, I've definitely met teachers who are like, this is a job. I go in there, collect, you know, this ABC, collect a paycheck. I got to get out of here. And then you meet the ones that are what I would refer to as like natural born teachers, right? Their certificates or their degrees are just a means to an end, because this is what they've always been great at, right? And they come in and they do change lives, and they do allow kids to see themselves in ways that they otherwise wouldn't see themselves, right? So I mean, I think you're doing really amazing work as far as supporting the people who quite literally are responsible for educating the next generation. There is no job more important than that. I mean, I think, and not to keep hitting on COVID, but it is such a huge thing in education. Like, I think a lot of parents are like, yeah, you know, teaching is hard or whatever. And then 2 years of having to try to like be a teacher and work and like be a parent. It's like, yeah, we need to make sure these teachers are supported, because they just did not realize until like they got pushed into this world that they are not qualified to do necessarily, that they didn't realize, like, oh, okay, we gotta stop acting like this is not a big deal. This is a huge deal. And I'm glad that people saw that. I wish they had seen it before there's this, you know, tragedy and what have you. And I hope they kind of keep that same energy up. So I really hope that through like your company and your work, people can kind of go, oh, okay, how do we help support this? And so that would be my question, is how do people who are not teachers help to support this teacher recess programs that you're doing?
I was getting ready to say, you know, we have different names: PTA, PTO, our parent organizations that support teachers in the building. Of course, that is always appreciated. And I think that school leaders need to also understand that, you know, providing wellness in the building, some type of wellness program framework, it's not something extra for you to do. It's actually a strategy. And if you really led with wellness, you will be leading with care, you know, concern and connection. And so little things such as, you know, greeting your teachers in the morning, or walking in the hallways in the morning and checking each teacher to say, hey, are you good? How can I support you today? Little tiny things like that go a long way. And I also wanted to mention another indirect, consequence of this is teachers, we have families, we're married, we have our own children,
Right.
and sometimes our children suffer because of I'm coming home from work and I'm working, I'm getting up early, I'm at school an hour and a half prior to the start of my workday, and my family is suffering as well. And so it is important that we take it seriously because it is serious. And we have a teacher shortage right now. A lot of teachers are like, I'm done. Like, you get to that point and it's like, I'll Uber and work at Walmart, do DoorDash, whatever I have to do, than to come to this building and not be well and safe. And we do have many school leaders who they want this for their staff, because if you are a good leader, you know that you not only have to build capacity in regards to teaching, but you also want to build capacity with, like I said, with care, concern, and connection, and connecting with your staff, because your staff will have your back. If they know that you care about them beyond the lesson plan and the observation, they are going to have your back. And every school leader should be able to be out of their building and no one knows that the principal is not there.
Right. I agree with that.
The principal is not there. So we're going to act up today, y'all. No, I'm just kidding.
No. No, that's the opposite.
I know. I'm just playing. Amon says this message about, okay, I got you. I don't know how that relates to the topic, but we're talking about educational wellness with Daryll Wharton, teacher recess consulting. Let me pull up your website for those who. Well, let me put it up there. What do you have? You said you had a special gift for people.
I have, absolutely. Look, you cannot show up empty-handed. So for our school leaders, I have a email template. It's a wellness email template to promote wellness in their school building for an entire school year. The emails are done. All you need to do is, of course, make them your own. Treat it like AI. Don't just go and copy it and paste it. Make it your own and send it out to your staff. And it's for an entire school year. And that's something that you don't have to think about, that is done for you already.
All right, well, here's your beautiful website. Y'all just go ahead to teacherretentionremedy.com. If you forgot it, just scroll back and look. It'll be up on the screen again. teacherretentionremedy.com. I almost say comedy. I mean, you need recess and you need some comedy in that recess. and
Put that in there, right?
So look, I always wanted to. My sister is a teacher, the principal, but I was wondering what happens in those teacher lounges. What's the vibe in those teacher lounges?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Look, for the most part, to be honest, they're probably just in there just being quiet because they just need a moment. They just need a moment to themselves, because children they don't understand that. They know what they need and they're asking for what they need. We need to listen to some of the kids sometimes because they have no filter, and the way that the world works has not impacted them yet. We know intuitively what we should and should not do, and we learn to ignore those voices. And so our children, they don't. They're still very intuitive. So most times if you go into the teacher lounge, they're probably just going to be in there quiet and eating their food because they just need a moment just to settle down for a moment.
Yeah, a little decompress.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. So when I read your bio at the top of the show, you have a simple motto, which is happy and healthy teachers create vibrant classrooms. What does a vibrant classroom look like to you?
Oh my goodness, I could talk all day. I can talk all day.
Then
Let me tell you this. It's not a quiet classroom. I can tell you that. That used to be, people think, oh, they're quiet, they must be learning. No, when I was in a classroom, you walk past my room, we were loud as I don't know what, because that's how you learn. And, if I'm saying something, they're reciting it back, or I have a group over here working, a group over here working, because it depicts real life. And so a vibrant classroom is a classroom where a student feels safe, number one, to ask why. Now, you guys say you from Baltimore. Y'all know when we grew up, you couldn't ask any adult why. Why not?
No.
In my house now, my wife says I don't answer why questions. That's just
so,
it. Or
yeah,
what did your parents used to say? Because I said so. That was
because I said so. Right. And so even with my husband, we have 3 girls. My motto or whatever was always, you can always ask me why. Now, you want to be careful how you ask me why, right? But I'm always going to explain, because then it allows them to critically think. And I think that a loud classroom, and when I say loud, I mean constructively being loud. So, and you'll know the difference if they're playing, running around, but if it's a loud classroom where they're actually working and they're thinking, it helps them to increase their critical thinking skills. And I know for one with, and I'll just use my girls as an example, they're not going to be at work and find out that the person sitting next to them doing the same job is making more money than them. They're going to go right to human resources and say, I'm going to need a salary review. So we teach our children to be silent. And I think, with a vibrant classroom, it allows the kids to feel safe to ask questions and express themselves. And when you have a well teacher, that teacher is able to handle that and say, we don't do this because, or you don't do this here in the middle of school, you do this at home or what have you. And so that interaction between the teacher and the students, that's a vibrant classroom where the student knows that when I go to school, it is a place that I want to go and I can't wait to get back to the next day. That's a vibrant classroom.
Absolutely, because
sounds like one to me.
When the people who were skipping school, they weren't rushing back to do anything. Back in the day, they used to call you home. Are you your son didn't come to school today, and then you get home and your mama asks you, "Did you go to school today?" And the first thing you say is yes. When your mother asks you, "Did you do something?" She already knows the answer. She's seeing if you're gonna lie. You remember those days? Look, we're talking about educational wellness here with Daryll Wharton. She has a revolutionary new program to help you cope in not in education, but it seems like in adulthood. I think you need to you have the Lord on the wall there, so you're going to expand your territory to adults. Okay, it's some corporate trainings that you could do, and you could apply the same thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's my prophetic word for you today, Miss.
I receive it.
Absolutely. So look, Bonnie says hello. If you're just tuning in, share this, because people need to see and hear that it is something, because sometimes you just don't think that there's something out there, and you're just going through day in and day out. You go to get in your car, you drive the same way to work, you get to school, you do the same kind of thing. You woosah, you go in the teacher's lounge, be quiet, and then you go to the classroom and you're dealing with, like you said, all of these different personalities. And then there's help. Go to teacherretentionremedy.com. She has a special gift for you. Just take the website down, even if you're not a teacher. It can apply to your life.
Yes, it definitely can apply.
Bonnie has a question. She said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Beginner. Does she cover safety from kids and outsiders?"
No, I don't cover that. Not directly. So, every adult should be talking to children if you're in the school system of, how to be safe. Because that's a whole other topic as well. Nowadays and teaching children. I used to tell my children if somebody try to take you, you act a fool. I mean, you start knocking over stuff and everything else. And guess who else gonna do that if you try to take me? I'm gonna act a fool. So, but I don't address that in my in my program. Yeah, I'm not even going to be worth your time trying to take me because I'm going to be too much trouble. And that's what I teach my children. Make them want to just leave you alone.
Absolutely. Active fool always makes me smile too. Like reset and active fool. I think that should be, that might be part of your new consultant training.
The motto.
One little
Absolutely.
tab should be active fool. Okay, well, listen, guys, get some recess in your life. If you're home and you're in front of that computer, go outside. Go for a walk.
Yes. Get some hula hoop. Jump
Get a
rope.
hula hoop.
Jump rope.
Don't get a hula hoop, fellas. Fellas used to try to get next to the ladies and think they could hula hoop. We weren't slick, right? We weren't. We just
No, that's embarrassing.
We act like we wanted to hula hoop, but I was just trying to get over there. Because the girls still hang with all of the girls and read. Well, we don't have. Do the kids still have recess or no?
They do in elementary. They do. And then you have some really smart school leaders who also give middle schoolers breaks. So,
Okay.
I'm gonna say every human needs a break. It doesn't matter how old you are. We all need breaks.
Jay, you like how she said that? We have some really smart administrators. So that means if you're not giving your kids a recess, you leaning on the other side. I'm not gonna call you dumb, but I'm just
you might not be doing
or,
what you should be doing.
Or if you're really busy, because school leaders are very busy. They have so much stuff going on, and that's why I started to do what I do. There is no thinking involved. I'm doing it for you. You just need to bring me in. It's done for you. You just need to show up and look like the beautiful school leader that all of your staff look up to you. And I'm in the background. You're out front, and with your staff knowing that you care about them.
Can we afford you? Are you
Of course. I listen. There is no price point on your wellness. How much would you pay to be completely well?
There you go.
The value.
You did, Jay. Now,
Fair enough. Yeah,
a smart adult willing to put a price tag on their wellness. Go to where we going, Jay? We going on a trip.
Hey, whatever it is.
So we're not putting a price on it. We need to travel somewhere. So look, this has been a wonderful chicken box. Daryll, you are full of energy, which we all needed. Used to be hump day and hump week, and even in school when you start out fresh, but about right after that lunch or that itis kick in and all of that other no wellness. You're getting tired towards the end of the day, and you need to have energy to finish the day strong, just as you did start. So this is the time when we get on the box. But before that, y'all, you're not going to find any beautiful Black stories like this anywhere else except on Afro News. 132 years of informing, inspiring, and educating our community. We love these stories. We feel that they're going to help. If they help one person, they helped. They did everything that it was supposed to do. We thank you for tuning in. Go to afro.com, get a digital subscription. If you'd like to feel the physical paper, we still have it. The throwback, it's there. We used to be a newspaper. We're a media company now. This is not a shameless plug. This is a plug. The other news is not going to tell our stories. That's the reason Black media is so important. That is my commercial. Now, Jay Jackson, you can get on the box, and we can let Daryll go back to recess.
All right. So what I would say is sort of to reiterate what I was talking about earlier, which is it's nice to hear somebody taking the perspective that teachers need to be supported as well. I think there's a lot of sort of lip service to that, and it's always from the perspective of just give them money, just give them money, just give them money, which is also nice. That's fine. But no amount of money covers up people being really not in a good place, right? Being miserable, coming into their job, or just being burnt out. So I appreciate you looking at the perspective of these people need to be supported in more holistic ways, which is to kind of give them space to be people, because oftentimes we forget that when people are at their job, we see them as the job or as an employee. We don't see them as human beings. Like, it's like the whole kid thing where your kid sees their teacher outside of school and they're like, I thought teachers lived at the school. Like, they don't have any perspective of them as like human beings outside. So, and I think we laugh about that with little kids, but I also think that we as other adults kind of forget that too, right? And so we have to respect their humanity. And so it looks to me as if your sort of recess consulting is trying to tap into supporting them as people first, and allowing that to make them into put them into a better place, and then that sort of cascades down to the children. So I think that's doing amazing work. Whether people realize it or not, I think it is incredibly important. So not only for those teachers, because they are people in society, but also it helps your kids who are taught by them. Or even if you don't have kids, you want a society where people feel supported and are educated and are happy, just so you're walking around dealing with, as normal of a world as you can, because people have gone through this process of being educated and becoming kinder, helpful people. So I think you're doing great work. So I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna get on the box, Daryl. You are the only woman, Daryl, I know. You are amazing. Now we're now friends. A Baltimore City graduate of Mercy High School. Is Mercy still around?
It is, absolutely.
Just checking. Northwestern's gone, Seton Keo. It's been so long since I've been to high school. But listen, I think you need to schedule recess. Like, just pull your phone up and be like, "Hey," no, I'm not. And you might because your devices will start talking to you. All of a sudden, recess will pop up on you. And schedule some time for wellness every day, just as you're going through every other meeting and schedule and running from here and there. I'm going to take that wellness education. I love teachers. I have a bunch of educators in my family and administrators, and I'm going to put them down. I'm going to tell them to tune back into this chicken box and go to your website. And the really smart administrators are going to make sure that they have wellness for their teachers beyond some donuts and lunch. So I'm off the box. I love what you're doing, and thank you for sharing your perspective with us. Now, Daryl, you are officially on the box.
I get on the box. Thank you. We expect our teachers all day to care, respect, and value their students, all while not being or feeling cared for, respected, or valued. So it is important that we address them, and for school leaders to think of prioritizing teacher wellness as a strategy, because happy and healthy teachers create vibrant classrooms. And what better way to honor someone who touches tomorrow? You can meet not one doctor, not one bus driver, not one lawyer, or just your person that is pumping your gas for you that has not had a teacher. It is a profession that should be highly respected and highly valued. And I hope that my mark that I leave on this world is helping people to do just that. And I'm off the soapbox. Chicken box. Chicken box. I'm vegan. I don't eat chicken, but yeah, I'm off the chicken box.
Fair enough.
Can we just put the fries? We can put the fries in the box.
Yeah, I guess so. That's the go-to meal when you can't find a vegan meal. I'll just order some mashed potatoes or some French fries. Yes.
Future retention remedies. Daryl has a special gift for you, and remember, call a senior. They love to hear from you. Don't text them. Call them up. Do a random act of kindness. Believe me, you're gonna make their day or their year. So until next time, God willing, we will see you on the Chicken Box. Dr. Draper, we missed you, our fearless leader, CEO. You missed her, who used to be an educator, started out before she was a CEO. You missed the teacher recess, but you're going to have to listen back in. Until then, go to afro.com to keep up with all things Black, all things positive, and all of the information that we need. When you want to know, is it real, go to the Afro. Until next time, have a great day, everybody.